Good morning. My travel style seems to be screw up, wander off somewhere, realize you've screwed up, turn around, make your way back to where you started, and eventually get to where you want to be. Eventually. This morning I'm in Jamestown, the first successful English settlement in North America. It is beautiful. This is the James River. It's huge. Here's the little settlement. It's right back there. I don't know if you can see it. It's probably 80 degrees. I mean, so pretty. There's a breeze. I'm sitting next to a river. I'm under these beautiful trees. But this morning I get to the Jamestown site and I go in and I pay my park fees because, you know, that's what you gotta do. And park my car and they're like, oh, there's benches down by the river. You wanna go there? I said, okay. So I've got my backpack full of equipment, strap it on. I start walking down this road and the road is closed and it says, you know, there's logging or I don't know what they said. But I'm walking down this road and it splits and it divides and I'm walking down this narrow road and I'm in the middle of a forest and there's nobody coming or going and I'm in a forest and I'm probably a mile in and I'm getting bitten by horseflies and there's dead animal smell and I'm like, oh, feeling what the settlers felt. Ah, man, me and the pioneers. It's like, I got this. I got the pioneer blood in me. But where's Jamestown? Because it seems like a long way for all the old people who come to these places. Seems like a long way for them to walk or wheel. And again, I'm just on a road. And then I'm thinking, this is where the bodies go missing. Because I've been listening to true crime podcasts, this is when it happens. And finally, after about a mile and a half of walking, I'm like, I don't think this is right. Starting to doubt myself. I turn around, I come back. Well, that time, it's time for my first period Zoom class. So I just plop down in the road, the middle of the road, log on. And I'm like, hey, they're like, you're in a forest. I said, I know, right? I got lost. Finished with my Zoom class. They hopped out. They went to go work on their work that I'd assigned them for today. Made my way back to the big visitor center where there are giant arrows and signs that say Jamestown that way. Signs I never saw because whatever. But I'm here, I made it. I'm about to set up camp here for the rest of the day. All my other classes are gonna get this. I'll see you guys later. There are people walking by, they think I'm weird. All right, bye. If you need to understand race relations in America, it's got to start here. The first slaves arrived in 1619, and they arrived here at Jamestown, Virginia. They would have landed right back there. That's where they would have gotten off the boat. They would have been on the Middle Passage, which is a brutal, multiple weeks, in some cases multiple months, crossing of the Atlantic Ocean. Not everybody made it, obviously. Bodies were dumped overboard. But those that survived would have made it here. And they would have made it here and entered into what becomes the United States as slaves. The issues with race relations in America start here, and they started in 1619. And when we talk about how scary and bad and ugly race relations are in America right now, it's not something that happened last weekend. It's not something that happened 50 years ago. It goes back over 400 years. Last week was actually the 401st anniversary of slaves arriving in America. It is an integral part of American history, and in order to understand what's happening now, you have to go all the way back to that. So if you want good resources, the 1619 podcast, there's a book called 1619. But if you're struggling with where we are as far as race in America right now, you have to understand that this goes all the way back to 100 and something years before we were even a country. It's not something that's easily untangled. It's not something that's easily fixed. It's something that's ugly that has to be dealt with, but you have to understand where it's coming from. And it started here, Jamestown, Virginia, 1619. Things I Am Grateful For by Kathy Cluck. Walls. indoor plumbing, doors, cars, electricity, running water. This is a house, I think. It's tiny. This would be the kitchen. That'd be the kitchen stove. So this is sort of living room-ish. And then maybe a hallway to what would be a bedroom or sleeping room. Yeah, I'm glad I have these things and not this. Although the view, not bad.